Oh, wait. Maybe.
Uh-oh. Too high.
Is that better?
Yeah, you look so beautiful.
Thanks, babe.
I really do.
You should
love
see
that
the
sweat.
bottom. I have on sweatpants.
Oh, me too. I almost had no pants on.
Girl, I have done Zooms like that, believe it or
Well,
not.
I was like, I better put them on just in case I need to stand up.
Yeah, I was going to say, just in case you need to step out or something, and then you forget.
Yeah, I know. That would happen.
That would totally happen to me. Oh, I would totally do that. Here's my thing. I love it. But I'm pushing through. I salute you. And you, my friends, are the epitome of Black excellence. Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Undeniably Nikki. As you can see, I am joined by a very special guest. This is my dear friend, Samantha Russell. And she is joining us today because this month is a very important month. It is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. And Sammy is a person who is a 2-time cervical cancer survivor. And now she is fighting again for the 3rd time. And I just wanted to bring her on to just talk about cervical cancer, especially because of this month, and also just to talk about her journey and everything that she has gone through, everything that she has to still do as a person who is still fighting cancer to this day. And she's just such an amazing person. She's just the most beautiful spirit, the most beautiful human. And I couldn't think of anybody other than Sammy that I want to talk to about cervical cancer. So this is my dear friend, Samantha Russell.
Hi, everybody. Nikki, thank you so much for having me. And you know that I feel the same way about you. You are a beautiful human and just so amazing. And you've blown me away in the same way. So thank you so much. And thank you for that very generous intro.
Of course. You know, I adore you with like all my heart.
Same with me.
And she's such a, like, I always tell her, I'm like, you're my sweet Sammy June. And I call her Sammy June because June means like deer in Farsi. I learned that from Shah of the Sunset, by the way. Who says TV don't teach you nothing?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, June, but it's spelled Joon. That means deer in Farsi. And so I call her Sammy June. And I always say she's my sweet Sammy June, but she's also like a badass. Like she don't take no crap. She's the sweetest soul, but she also don't take no crap. And she's so strong. And like obvious, like I said, she's beat cancer twice. And now she's gonna beat it for the 3rd time. So she's a total badass.
Thank you so much. Honestly, that has been a lesson that's come with this whole experience because I think old me was very, very sweet and always concerned about like what everyone else is going to think. And yeah, I mean, I still want to be sweet. I still want to be kind and nice, but I think I've learned that yeah, I'm not going to take any crap, and nobody should.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's been a huge lesson for me throughout all this too.
So Sammy, tell everyone, just start off by telling us your journey, if you don't mind, starting with from when you first kind of knew something was going on with you, like right before you were diagnosed.
Hopefully, I mean, this is the point since it is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. Hopefully, it's not too graphic or anything for this, but
don't worry about that.
Symptoms.
I said, don't worry about that.
Okay. The magic of editing, I guess I should keep in mind. I started experiencing symptoms in like I'll just say I started experiencing symptoms in 2016. A lot of it was like abdominal pain and some abnormal bleeding. And of course, as a woman, you know, you keep up with your OBGYN screening. So I went to go see my gynecologist, and it just kind of progressed from there. We did do a few procedures after my test had come back abnormal, in hopes of, you know, containing it, and not only finding out specifically what we were dealing with, but to kind of nip it in the bud before it gets any worse. Unfortunately, it was confirmed that I had cervical cancer a few months after Jake and I got married, in March or February of 2016. And yeah, it was a shock. It's a hard thing to deal with as a young woman, as someone who has just gotten married, and you know, you have all of these plans ahead of you, and our life kind of took a sharp turn. Yeah. So with that being said, I had to have surgery. I had to have a radical hysterectomy, which was like an event personally for us in itself.
Now the radical hysterectomy, that is it always that extreme, or were you diagnosed at an advanced stage?
I wouldn't say advanced. It was more advanced than, well, to be specific, at first it was diagnosed as stage 2B. Okay. And I'd have to like look up the specifics on how they categorize everything. At that point, they told me, you know, it had grown so much that we couldn't preserve that area. And, you know, dealing with cancer, you want to be aggressive with fighting it. Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, that was the news that we received, and that was, you know, the best course of action that the doctors wanted to go in. I don't know if you know, if the staging had been different, if they had wanted to go a different direction. I have known a couple of friends who have cervical cancer, and their experience is just a tiny bit different, but we all, for the most part, go through the same treatments, as far as I know. Okay. There could be women out there who, you know, it's totally different.
Well, my cousin, who's more like an aunt / mother to me, she had cervical cancer, and she got a hysterectomy when she got it. But she also was, let me see, Sherry was, I want to say she was in her 50s. Like she probably was 50 when she was diagnosed, either 50 or 51 when she was diagnosed. And so she was at the point too where she didn't want kids. You know, she's had her kids, and so she was just like, take whatever you need to take, you know, to save my life.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate that we have to come to that decision, but it, like you said, it's a matter of saving your life. So it was a decision we had to make, and it's difficult, but I'm glad that I'm here to talk about it.
Of course. And so now, what was your first treatment like? Because I know I feel like you've had different treatments each round. So what was your first treatment like?
So, you know, once we did that surgery, it really was life-changing for both of us.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned before, we had just gotten married, and being 27, I was looking forward to starting a family and, you know, getting that part of our lives going.
Yeah.
But, you know, as we've established, life had different plans for us. So it took a long time for us to kind of heal and
accept your new normal.
Accept our new normal, reevaluate like what we found important in our life. That's why we decided to travel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, tell everyone about your trip. They actually, I met Sam and Jake because I work with them, and they actually decided to quit their job. They sold their home, and then they took a trip around the world.
We did. We just decided to get lost.
Yeah.
I think something, not for everyone. It's not, it's not something that everybody wants to do, but going through something like that really forced us to think, okay, well, what are our priorities in life? What do we want to experience? You're reminded very much so that tomorrow's not guaranteed. So
Yeah.
what do we want to focus our time on? What do we want to put our energy towards? And it was traveling. So we decided to do it.
And
because life is precious and short, and you got to do.
And this was after your first.
Go ahead.
This was after your first treatment, right?
It was like a year and a half after my first treatment. We came home with the intention of settling down. And unfortunately, looking back, I didn't know it at the time, but looking back, I was having symptoms again.
While you were on your trip?
Very different, and I think that's why I hadn't. No, not while we were on our trip, but when we had come back. Mm-hmm. We were trying to settle back down, move into a home and find new jobs. And unfortunately, I had been having a lot of stomach issues. I was having a lot of trouble digesting, and I had been recommended to a specialist. And that person, unfortunately, I think it was because of my age, and it's a problem in the medical field that a lot of people get dismissed, and unfortunately, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
So
that's my mom too.
It's so unfortunate, and I find that it does happen to a lot of cancer patients. I don't know. It is the responsibility of a doctor to take their patient seriously. Period.
Yeah.
And that is one of the reasons why I do, I try to be as open as I can be with our experience, because I would hate for someone to go through what we've been through.
Yeah.
Especially if it can be helped. If they know that they really need to advocate for their health and speak up and ask, whatever questions that come to mind during their doctor's appointments, I hope that that's helpful.
Yeah. So your first go round, so they didn't get all the cancer through surgery. Did they?
It's so complicated.
Oh.
That doctor thought that they did. And their advice to me was that, they usually with cancer, any kind of cancer surgery, they take more than they should, because they want to make sure that they've really got everything that they need to. It didn't spread. And so with that, and after they tested everything, they said, it's good, you're good to go. We don't suggest any further treatment. I have talked to other doctors.
Oh, so you didn't have chemo after that?
Not immediately after. The first time was just the hysterectomy. And then when I was diagnosed a second time was when we did chemo and radiation and immunotherapy. So that's why it's kind of complicated. I mean, at that point, those doctors didn't feel like I needed more treatment. However, the further down that we've gone down this road, other doctors have said, it probably would have been better had I done radiation or something, but that's so many lessons to share. I can't wish that I'd done something, different or dwell on it. We're here now, and we deal with everything the best way we can.
So what was like the biggest lesson out of that for you? Do you, I feel like going through that and then going down the line and you're hearing these other doctors say, maybe you should have gotten radiation and stuff. Do you feel like that has made you become even more of a stronger advocate for yourself as a patient?
Absolutely. And you know, it goes back to what I was saying, what we were talking about earlier is, you know, I don't have a tolerance for a lot of crap
Badass
that
Sammy.
comes my way.
Badass
And I
Sammy.
thank you. That is something that I had to learn, that
Yeah.
I can't bite my tongue when it comes to something so serious as my own health, or to be honest, even the second doctor that I had gone to when I was having those stomach problems, and they said, no, it's something else, you're too young, even though I had already a history of cervical cancer. I
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately trusted them. I trusted their position. I
Mm-hmm.
had people in my personal life who were doing the same thing to me. Um,
Mm.
you know, not taking me
Yeah.
seriously, um, dismissing how I was feeling about the situation and what
Yeah.
was going on in my personal life. So that's a huge lesson, if not one of the biggest takeaways, is that um, you know yourself and you know your own
You know your
body.
body. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't let other people essentially gaslight you into thinking that you don't know yourself or you don't know what you're
Exactly.
talking about. Um, so that is just a very, very valuable lesson that we've taken away from this experience.
Yeah.
And
And I
as
go ahead.
close,
Go
no,
ahead.
I'm so sorry.
No, no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that it's really helped me find the right doctors.
Mm.
Um, you know, I don't hold back anymore. Jake will be the first one to admit that I have, you know, a whole list of questions
Yeah.
and things that I want to discuss. And if I'm finding that the doctor has an issue with that, that's not the doctor
It's
for
not the
me, because
doctor for you. Yep.
mhm, I need somebody who's going to take me seriously,
Yeah.
because this is a very serious situation, and I have definitely learned from my previous mistakes.
Yeah, totally. I think I learned to be more of an advocate for myself as a patient when I think it was 2016 when I ended up in the hospital. I went to the hospital 2 days in a row because I had bronchitis probably a few weeks before, and my bronchitis did not heal well. It did not heal properly, and so it turned into pleurisy. But at the time, I didn't know what it was. I just know that I had the most awful pain in my chest, and it was like I couldn't even lay down. I couldn't even. I like sat. I remember I slept one night right here on the couch, just sitting straight up because I was in so much pain. It hurt to lay down. It hurt to move. I was like hunched over. It was just awful. And the first day I went to the hospital, um, I think you were out of work during this time, Sammy. You were out of work dealing with cancer. You're dealing with your own health issues. But yeah, the first time I went to the hospital because I was like, something's not right. And I remember I called my best friend Karen, and I was just like, my sister who was at work at the time, and I was just like, I think I need to go to the hospital. Something's not right. So, and I was like, can you come and get me and take me? And so she came and got me, and she took me to the hospital. And I had her call my grandmas and let them know, that I was going to the hospital. And so they get me in the hospital. And did she take me the first time or no? My sister. I take it back. My sister took me the first time. My sister took me the first night, and that was a Friday night. And they literally, like, I had to call out of work and everything. I was at the hospital because I was in so much pain. They ran all these tests. They did blood. They did a pap smear on me. They did just all these things, and nothing came back showing anything wrong. So they just sent me home. And I was just like, I'm in so much pain, and it was just kind of almost like, I don't know. I just kind of felt like they almost felt like I was exaggerating my pain a little bit. And so the doctor, the last thing he did on me was a pap smear. He went and did a pelvic exam and a pap smear just to see, if anything that came back okay. So they sent me home. And so I was just like, okay. So he gave me, what did he give me? I think he just like gave me some antibiotics or something. because I still had signs of my sinus infection that were showing. So I get home, and that was the night I just kind of slept like this on the couch because I just couldn't even move. And so my sister went to work the next morning, and then I got up, and then I just started progressing, just getting worse, and just in so much pain. And that's when I called Karen, and I was just like, something's not right. Like, I need to go to the hospital. Like, I couldn't even like breathe. It was like it hurt to breathe. And so Karen came, got me, took me to the hospital. There was a totally different doctor in the ER at this time, a different doctor. She did the same test, and she was like, yeah, I see you were here yesterday. And I was like, yeah. They sent me home. They said, nothing, like they couldn't figure out what was going on. This one doctor did something different. The other doctor didn't do this. She did blood work. She did blood work on me. And she did she did blood work, and she did a chest x-ray. And when she did the x-ray, she realized that my lungs were ridiculously inflamed and realized I had pleurisy. And so it was just like, had I not been like adamant again, like, no, something is wrong, I need to go back to the hospital, like, who knows what could have happened? You know what I'm saying? And so I just thank one doctor. I just thank her for like seeming to take my concerns serious and like doing taking extra steps, doing an extra test. And then that's how they figured out the issue. And that was the moment when I realized, like, you know what? I need to be an advocate for myself. Like, I shouldn't even let them send me home at night. I should have just like been like, no, like, and y'all got to keep running tests because something is wrong. Because that first doctor, now that I think about it, like I said, I don't think he did blood. Did he do blood work? I think he did blood work, but he didn't do the chest x-ray like she did. So,
right.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you followed your intuition and that, you listened to yourself and your body saying something's not right.
We have
because
to.
Just like you said. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I think it's so easy for us to just, I guess, take the position that they have for granted and just assume that as a doctor that they're doing everything that they can.
Right.
And, it's not to say there's fantastic doctors out there, but unfortunately, more often than not, I've had that same experience that you've had. And it's kind of one of the reasons why, I've experienced things the way that I have.
Right.
Or that they've progressed so badly. But anyway, can't dwell on it.
Yeah, we just have to learn from it.
Oh, sorry. The video was frozen. So I wasn't
okay.
sure if it was still working. Lessons and apply them as we move forward.
Yeah. My mom went through the same thing too. My mom had cancer. My mom passed from cancer. But when she first started experiencing symptoms, she couldn't keep anything down. She was throwing up whatever she ate. She just couldn't keep it down. And so after, at first she thought maybe she just had like a little stomach flu or something. But after like a week of this, she was just like, okay, something's not right, and she went to the hospital, and then they just kind of, they just sent her home, and they were like, well, follow up with your doctor. Like, they didn't really run the proper test to see if something was going on. They were just like, I can't remember what they told her, but then they sent her home and they're like, follow up with your doctor. She followed up with her doctor. Her doctor is like, okay, I'm going to have you go see the specialist, make an appointment with this specialist. She calls the specialist. It's like a gastrointestinal specialist. She calls and makes an appointment with them. They're like, we can't get you in for an appointment until June. This was the beginning of May. All of this was happening. So end of April, beginning of May. So my mom was like, okay, so she made the appointment. Another week goes by. She's like, something is not right. Like, she just knew something was wrong. So she called this hospital in St. Louis, which is like a specialty hospital. And she was just like, this is what's going on with me. These are my symptoms. This is what's happening. I just feel like something's not right. And I feel like I shouldn't wait till June for a specialist. And so they were like, okay, come on in. They got her in that same day. She went to the hospital, very next day she was diagnosed with cancer. Mm-hmm. So can you imagine had my mom waited a month to go to the specialist in June? It would have been a month because the appointment was like the end of June. So it would have been over a month. So had she waited to go to the specialist and not advocated for herself and been like, you know what, something's not right. Like my mom probably wouldn't have lived as long as she did live. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. And I'm so sorry that happened. And, you know, she definitely did the right thing. She sounds like a smart person to take, you know, your health into your own hands.
Yeah. Like we have to. So Sammy June, how long had you been cancer free before it returned the second
time? It had been about like a year, maybe a year and a half until I officially found out. And it was kind of how you mentioned. I had been seeing this doctor for the longest time. She kept saying, no, it's something superficial. Yeah. You know, it's digestive related, which it was not. I don't know if it's common, but you know, with cervical cancer, because of where it is, was very close to my intestines and everything. My tumor had grown so large that it had, like, what's the word I'm looking for, interfered with this whole other part of my body. Mm-hmm. And then so, you know, she kept kind of dismissing me. And then finally one evening, I was unfortunately bleeding so much, and it was so abnormal. It was so inexplicable. And I ended up going to the emergency room and found out, wow, I have cancer again. So
and were you just bleeding out of nowhere, or were you on your cycle, or no, you shouldn't have been on your cycle because you had the hysterectomy.
No, once I had the hysterectomy, I don't have periods anymore. Yeah. So that was the red flag.
Oh, of course.
No,
oh my God.
Intended. Yeah. Right. But yeah, I mean, it was very honestly crushing to know that, like, I had a intuition about what was going on. Yeah. I was very worried about what was happening and, you know, how I could help myself. And I had gone through this experience where there were a lot of people in my personal life telling me it was nothing to worry about. And, you know, I am making it a bigger problem than it is. And then going to this doctor. So that was a huge turning point in my life where I thought, okay, well, I know what I'm talking about. I am very in touch with what's going on with me and who I am. So I just need to pick up.
Yeah.
And it's a hard lesson, but I'll tell you, I'll never forget it.
Of course not. And you know what, too? I wonder if people were being a little more dismissive about it because, you know, the first time and the second time, because the stats do show that people who do get cervical cancer are between the ages of 33 and 45, I think. But I still don't understand how people can be dismissive of someone's what they're feeling in their health, because even though that is the more common age range, there are still some people, even though it's rare, there are people who get it younger, like you got it when you were 28 or 27. And then there are people who get it older, who get it like in their...
I was 27.
Yeah, 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
So, wow. That
yeah, I think that's the common understanding. Yeah, a lot of people, I mean, I don't want anyone to be scared or be paranoid, but the thing is that cancer it doesn't discriminate.
It doesn't.
You can live a really healthy lifestyle. You can be younger. You can be, I mean, it affects such a wide range of people. And that's why I am so adamant about people really keeping up with their health and advocating for themselves.
I totally agree. So you go through the second round of treatment, and this time you go through the chemo and radiation.
Yeah, chemo, radiation, immunotherapy. It was basically the rest of 2019. Going through that is in itself life changing.
Yeah.
It's a scary experience. You're not, so much of cancer treatment is so unpredictable and fluid. Like you kind of have to make your moves as things change.
Yeah.
And that Jake and I spent 2019 basically just trying to keep up with everything that was going on.
Yeah.
And trying to really focus on just getting through everything.
Yeah. And I know, like, during that time, that is when you decided to shave your head before your hair start really falling out. What made you make that decision? Did you just want to keep control? Like, did you want this to be something you could actually control, or be proactive in regards to why you decided to shave your head?
Yeah, I remember going to the grocery store like a couple of days before starting chemo, and this woman came up to, it was to me it felt like a sign, or
Divine
definitely
intervention.
something that I needed to be paying attention to, because it had never happened before. Yeah, no, it definitely felt like a power bigger than me. This woman came up to me and she said, "Oh my gosh, your hair is just, it's so beautiful," and was just asking me all these questions about it. And it was because I knew what was coming. I had that in my head so much and put so much like thought and weight into it, and it was just really eating away at me. And once that had happened, I think it kind of made me realize that, like, as much as upsetting as it would be for any person or woman to kind of have to change their identity unwillingly.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like your physical
Yeah.
appearance, and we put so much into it is what I meant. My thought process jumped from here to here, but once that happened, I thought, okay, you know what? I can put these things in check, and although, I just got this really nice compliment, I have other things to worry about, and one day it will be the same again, and I can look forward to those other things, but that's not what's important right now.
Yeah.
And then, shortly after that, I started chemo. It was pretty immediate that I was feeling so sick, and everything was painful. Like it's hard to imagine because I wouldn't have been able to explain it, but literally your hair strands and your follicles in your head hurt.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that often, that your head just hurt, like just yeah.
To the touch. I mean, it was even to the point where I couldn't really brush it because I didn't want to put the tension on there. So Jake and I just decided, you know what, we're gonna do this. We're gonna take control of this situation, because it's a situation where you have so little control of.
So we're gonna do it. I, as you can tell, have very, very little brushed my hair today because it hurts really bad. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to brush it before we do it. I'm just in a lot of pain. Like, my body feels like it's constantly fighting something and it doesn't know what to do. I feel like I'm shaking and everything hurts. My head hurts, my hands sometimes hurt, my feet hurt. I don't know, my bones hurt. Like, just everything to my core hurts, and I feel like this, maybe, I hope, will be freeing. I have been dreading this, but also looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to it because I know how much trouble it is to just hold on, to hang on to it, and it's been like months now just waiting for this time. The more I let this go on, the more it'll hurt, because just everything's getting more sensitive as time goes on. So it's time to bite the bullet, huh? It's just hair. What do you think?
I think I want you to do mine first and have some excitement there, and then
we're gonna try to make this as fun as possible, I think. My sweet husband. My sweetheart. I love you.
I love you.
Does it hurt?
Oh, man.
I don't want to hurt you. Just leave it like that. I could look at it as cancer taking away my hair, or I could look at it as I'm not going to let it bother me, and I'm choosing to do, as hard as it is, I'm choosing to do the latter, because it's temporary and it doesn't mean anything, and if it means I can feel better, then we're going to do it.
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without you.
Oh, that's all we need, is just to kind of put it together.
Try to brush it. I know it hurts so bad.
Ready?
Let me hold it. Oh. I actually don't feel as bad about it. Oh, that's kind of cute. Oh, see, when I grew it out, well, not exactly like this.
This is the cake gossip moments for sure.
Cake gum.
Well, you know, like the...
Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god.
We can leave it like that.
Yeah, just
So let's start slowing down.
I just want to shave it now.
Okay.
I'm proud. I'm a proud woman. Oh my god. Does it look what you thought it would look like?
I don't know. It was so. It's knowing you with hair forever. To try and picture you without it is.
This is gonna bore me.
Totally like a
Oh
bore.
my gosh, look at these. Look at this color. I spent a lot of money on this color.
You know, I had been thinking about it so much, and I built it up so much because as a young woman, I will admit that I put a lot of my identity and my sense of beauty into my hair.
Oh, a lot of us do.
But
a lot of us do.
I had
Yeah.
but it was that conversation that I had with that woman that made me think outside of that perspective. And I just thought, you know what? We're just going to do it. It's something that I have to do. And, you know, what's more important to focus on is treatment and my health.
Yes. And I want to applaud you for that, because that's very mature and very just intuitive of you, because you knew that going on with what you were about to go through, that can't be a priority in your head. Like the visual of hair and things like that. You can't let that be something that's going to worry you, because all your strength, all your energy, all your focus, you have to remain positive if you can, as much as you can. All that has to be put into your treatment and beating cancer. So I applaud you for that. I really do, because I know that was not easy. I know that was not easy to do. Because look at how upset we get as women if we just get a haircut and it's a bad haircut. Look how upset we get. So to go and shave your whole head, I know that was not an easy decision to come to, but I'm proud of you for making that decision.
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. And I really do appreciate it. I will be the first to admit that, as you know, I share these videos and it might seem like it comes really easy. It might seem like it doesn't bother me or I'm stronger than that situation. But the truth of the matter is that it is a hard decision. You hit the nail on the head, something that you know that you're going to have to save your energy for a lot more important things.
Yeah.
And, you know, making that decision the way that we did absolutely prepared us for everything that was coming. And I can only see that now, hindsight, but, you know, that is something that that we've learned is that, I mean, as Christians, we very much believe that there's a higher power and we had faith that we would be carried through it. And looking back, I mean, I feel like it is like almost a testimony, if you will, or just
testimony. Oh, it is a testimony. It is. Yeah.
Just to know that we were prepared for harder things. I mean, in the process, I had lost so much weight. I would look in the mirror and it would be alarming because I didn't even recognize the person that I saw anymore. I had scars. Were brand new to me all over my body. I had no more hair, even on my face. I mean, I have so little hair to begin with, but even on my face. And then obviously in the position that I'm in now, letting go of my hair was just the beginning of kind of freeing myself from the, like, I don't want to say superficial, but from being so focused on what I look like or what everyone else thought about my appearance. And all of that.
Which, by the way, like, it was so funny because Jake and I were having a conversation at work one day, and I was just like, Jake, like, and I had already texted you and told you this. I was like, she looks absolutely beautiful with the shade. Like, you look beautiful with your shaved head and your little stubble, like little peach fuzz. I mean, you just look like G.I. Jane. Like, like, and to me, that just made you look more like a warrior. You know what I'm saying? And more of a badass. But you look good with a bald head. Not everyone can pull a bald head like a fade off. Not everyone can pull that off, girl, and you pulled it off. Trust me.
Oh, you're so kind.
Like, your head is
Thank
a nice
you so
shape,
much.
and it was cute. You didn't have dents in your head. You pulled it off, girl. And I remember Jake. I love it. I remember Jake even said, he was like, I love it. He was like, I think she looks so beautiful. And I was like, you're such a good hubby.
we were pleasantly surprised. I mean, I actually ended up keeping short hair for a long time,
and
after,
it looks so good on you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, in that sense, it was just freeing to be like, you know, my hair is already short and I'm just gonna do what I want, because that kind of stuff, I just felt like it didn't matter as much as the other things that I had prioritized in our life.
Which was your health.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so, you know, we're going to fast forward and we're going to go to what happened when, you know, so you're basically, you go through chemo, you go through radiation and everything, and you're all good, and you ring the bell. I remember the video of you ringing that bell, saying you were cancer free, and we all were so excited. I remember you and I went out to dinner, like, a little bit later, because I was like, let me know when you're up, and I'm taking you out to dinner to celebrate. And we went out to dinner, and then you get it again.
Yeah.
And how many? I remember this time it was just months after. It wasn't like a full year or anything. It was months after.
No, it was, I got a clear scan, maybe like the week before Christmas. And then I started noticing symptoms maybe in like February.
So you always have noticed symptoms first. You've always felt like symptoms.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's never gone like unnoticed for me. I think like the first time I unfortunately like took my time with it, and you know, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I will end up at the doctor whenever I end up at the doctor. But every diagnosis since then, I think once you're diagnosed with cancer, there is that thing that's in the back of your head. That's
always.
Like,
yeah.
Always. I mean, I can have a headache, and you know, it's just a sad reality of having a disease like this. But since then, you know, I'll notice symptoms, and absolutely first thing let my oncologist know. And so they always run the tests and we do scans. And I found out it was either late February or early March, same time the pandemic started to hit here.
Yeah.
Found out that it had come back. This time, I hope this isn't getting like too personal, but it was just, it was so crushing and upsetting, depressing. I mean, I have so many words for it, but to know that we had gone through all of that, and been taken so low, for it only to happen, you know, a couple of months later, was a hard pill to swallow.
Of course.
And then the doctors that I was seeing at the time, one of them advised me absolutely go out of state, because the institution that I had been going to here just doesn't deal with like advanced cervical cancer. And then another doctor that I had seen told me that there were just no more options. And that is a really hard thing to hear. It's shocking. It's
devastating.
Very, very upsetting.
Yeah.
Absolutely devastating. And so
because you weren't ready to give up. So of course you don't want to hear someone else tell you to give up. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It's devastating.
No, then that's exactly true. You know, you look at Jake and I look at our situation, we're young. And I know that this is like, it's a huge health thing, but otherwise I was healthy. I'm now 32, but at the time I was 31, and outside of cancer, I had a lot of things going on that I still wanted to fight for. So Jake and I made the decision to relentlessly pursue other options out of state. And I'm so glad that we did. I actually had a different doctor, once I told him, what had happened, told me, no, you go find, whatever answer you can, go out of state.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that, and it goes along with everything that we've been talking about, is that you know yourself, you know what you're capable of, you know what's going on in your body. So please, like, always get second opinions if you're unsure.
Yeah.
Get second opinions even if just like the tiniest bit.
I agree.
Unsure.
100% agree.
And I'm blessed to be able to be here and tell this story.
Yeah.
But we ended up finding a team in California that was like, from the get-go, we will figure something out.
Your experience was totally different with them from the get-go, and you knew things were going to be different. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, just the level of care is totally different. But their attitude was very different. It was like, we don't have the answer right this second, but we will find one.
And that I can't imagine how that felt for you. Like, that probably was just like me. I probably would have been in puddles, like literally puddles of crying at that moment, just hearing the different level of hope in their voice compared to the level of non-hope from the other doctor in their voice.
Oh yeah. It was a stark night and day, and in the time in between, absolutely. I probably cried every single day. And was high stress because, I mean, a doctor just gave me the worst news, and we're trying. And so once we established everything with them, it was like, as cancer care is, very, very quick. And we were initially going to do a different treatment, but then they decided, because of where I was at, because my cancer had advanced so much in my body, that obviously drastic measures were going to have to be taken.
Yeah.
And they felt like it was best to give me the best chances of surviving this, and hopefully being able to get rid of it and move on. We were going to have to take what was left of my organs in my pelvis / my abdomen. So it was a huge decision.
And what is that procedure
when it came
called?
down to it, it's called a pelvic exoneration surgery.
Okay.
It's a massive undertaking. It was like an operation full of, so many doctors and experts. It took 14 hours. I was in the hospital for a few weeks, and it's life-changing. That meant, I should mention that does mean that I have 2 ostomy bags now, because...
So what organs did they take for you to have to get the ostomy bags?
So it was they definitely had to take my bladder because the tumor was in my bladder. But because tumor had been before, it had already affected my intestines. So they had to take that as well. And that means that I have now 2 stomas where that's how I use the restroom. They're holes that come out of my stomach because I don't have the organs that perform those functions normally for people, which has been a wild ride. It's been an adjustment. It's definitely been the hardest time of our life, especially, in the middle of a pandemic. But it's definitely taught us a lot. And, I definitely have been in the perspective, where I've met a lot of people who have cancer. As hard as this experience is, I know it's such a blessing to be here and to talk about it. So I just always try to focus on that instead of, why me? Why do I have to do this? And not to say that it doesn't happen, because I'm human and,
You're human.
And it does a lot.
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask, like, have there been moments where, because even though you and I both are we're very strong in our faith and we trust God to get us through everything, we're also human, and we can also have moments of severe worry and doubt and question God and be like, why? Like, am I going to get through this? Or like, did you ever have moments like that? Because you are always so, strong in your faith. You know what I'm saying? And you're always so trying to be positive and help people with your experience. But I think that's an important part too, because I think people need to know that it is okay to have those questions for God, and He will give us the answers,
Absolutely. You know what? Even a week ago, was it a week ago? I was feeling very, very low. My healing process from that surgery, it's been 9 months, I think. I'm still having healing issues. It's just not going as quickly as anyone expected. And then plus, it happened right after I did chemo and everything. So it's that much harder for my body to heal. But I've just been so frustrated, so impatient, and just feeling like what you said, why do I have to deal with this? Why do I have to, I have these bags. Why can't I just heal? Why can't I just move on? And I have absolutely, in the last 9 months, have had my lowest of lows. And last week I came to a breaking point. Jake has become my in-home therapist and reminder of having faith, and hopefully he'll be able to talk about it a little bit more, because he's but I think that I experienced those lows to be reminded that I'm not alone, and that God is walking us through this. Because I'll tell you that the day before we had to travel back to LA to deal with my healing issues, and 2 or 3 days before that, I was having one of those days. Nothing was going right with my bags. I was very lost in my feelings of having to cope with everything. And I cried all day, and it doesn't make me proud, but I have to be honest that I asked Jake, does this shake your faith? Am I wrong for feeling doubtful as far as my faith goes? Because I don't know what the answer is. I don't know why. I don't know. I feel like, am I being punished for something? I mean, my mind goes there.
Of course, that's normal.
But then, but days later, we went to the doctors. They were very happy with my progress. They were very encouraging and telling me, no, you just have to be patient. We're so happy with how everything looks. And I had it in my head that, oh no, it's bad. I'm going to have surgery again. Oh, I don't have faith in this process anymore or anything anymore. It's just been so hard. And it turned around. So I think I want people to know that it is absolutely okay to be sad, to be scared, to feel like you can't do this, because I've been there. I feel it. I still feel it. But please don't let those feelings take you over, because I promise there's something wonderful waiting on the other side if you're willing to go there.
Exactly. And that's the key. That's the key.
It was just so validating for my doctors to be like, oh no, this is great, and you're doing great, and we're on the right track. And even that day, I think Jake and I went for a walk, and I did stairs. We climbed a bridge, and I thought, okay, God is answering my question today.
Yes, he
is. Was like,
yes, he is.
He was like, oh, you doubted me, but I have an answer for you.
Yes, he did, girl. And that's what he'll do. He'll always do it that way. He'll do it in a way where he's going to show up and show out, honey. And that's what he was doing, because I think us as humans, we're so hard on ourselves, right? And here you are, you're in a totally different process than you've ever been in. You are dealing with 2 new foreign objects in your body. You know, those bags are foreign objects in your body, and going through a process you've never dealt with. And you're thinking, I'm not progressing like I should. This is not working. Things are going wrong, just because you're still in the learning stages. You're still having little mishaps and things like that. And, you know, and you're at this point, like you said, you were just like questioning your faith and questioning God and if this process really works. And not only did he show up and be like, girl, the doctor's like, girl, you're doing good. You know, not only that, but then he also showed you with your physical and what you could do physically that you haven't been able to do in God knows how long. You know what I'm saying? So it just reminds me of that script. Like, one of the things my grandma always says to me, my sweet Medea, she will always say to us or anyone, she always says, God is an ever-present help. And that is true. God is an ever-present help. Even if we don't feel it, even if we don't necessarily know it, I always keep that in my head, that even no matter what I'm going through, even though I feel like I can't make it through, I keep in the back of my head, God is an ever-present help. He's ever-present and he's always helping. Yeah. We just don't always see it because sometimes we're so caught up, you know, in our own misunderstanding and our own frustration. But then he'll send signs, i.e. your doctors, i.e. you being able to climb up the stairs to show you you're doing good, you're on the right track, and it's working out. It's all working out. So
yeah, amen to that. Yeah. And yeah, it absolutely is a reminder that, like, I don't need to be lost in our human things. I need to just focus on, you know, giving myself grace, giving this process grace, and giving, you know, whatever it is that you're going through, give it some time, give it, I can't say it enough, give it grace and allow it to be what it is. It's going to be hard. It's going to be upsetting. You're going to feel like you can't do it. But, you know, if I look back on these 4 years on if I had stopped every time that I felt like I couldn't do it, I wouldn't be here.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's a powerful thing.
Yeah. And we just have to give ourselves graces, like just grace in life in general. You know, like I said, we're so hard on ourselves, and We really
Yes.
should just be giving ourselves grace. And you, my dear, you not only are dealing with trying to heal, but then you're also stuck in the house because we're in a pandemic and you
Mhm.
are a vulnerable person. So you can't be out and about, you know? And so not
No.
only that, but then also there's craziness of seeing people who don't believe the pandemic is real, not wearing masks. So then you're having to deal with like, oh my God, am I gonna ever be able to get out this house again? And kind of start to progress to have a normal life with my new normal. You're dealing with that, and then we have all the social unrest. So of course
Mhm.
you're gonna have moments like that. Like me, I'm not even a person who was going through something physical like you, but I was having my moments of just anxiety and hurt and not understanding what's happening in the world. So, but I
Too
realized I have to
much.
give
It's
myself
it.
grace and allow myself to feel those things. And not
Oh,
feel bad that I feel those things and allow myself to ask those questions, to God and trust that He's going to give me the answers some way, somehow. He's going to let me know and help me out. Because He knows we're human. Like, I feel like a lot of people think that God wants us to be perfect. He doesn't want us to be perfect. He knows we're not perfect. That's why we need
no.
Him. If we were perfect, we wouldn't need Him. Hello?
Gosh. Amen. Amen to that. And
So,
that is like the foundation we all need to hold on to. Is like
yeah.
that's why we are not God. We are not Jesus like, even though we try.
Yes.
But that's why
All we can do
we
is
have
try to
to
be Christ
role
like. Exactly. We're not Christ. We can try to be Christ
models.
like, but we are not Him,
Mhm.
and He does not expect us to be Him. So we do need to give ourselves more grace just in everything that we do in life.
Yeah, you're so intuitive, because that's been my biggest like stressor. That's been the hardest thing for me to deal with emotionally, is that like, whoa, we blew up, not blew up our life, because it's not like we had a lot of choices, but our life is upside down right now.
Yeah.
And is it going to be worth it? Am I going to be able to get out of the house and live a normal life? Is everything going to be okay?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think it is a message that every single person right now needs to hear, because this whole year and continuing has been just so much instability, so much
Yeah.
um, unpredictability. We just need to be reminded that, like, we're, focus on what you want out of life,
Yeah.
what you want to get out of it, and just keep following your path, and don't
Yeah.
let the negative suck you in. It's okay to
Right.
feel those feelings. It's totally normal, but we need to hold on to the positive.
Exactly. So how have you been doing? Like, speaking of holding on to the positive, how have you been doing through all of this, the pandemic and everything that you're going through, seeing what's going on in the news? I always try to tell you, like, I always text you, like, stay away from the news as much as you can because it's toxic.
It absolutely is, and it's so hard right now, because I feel like I want to be informed. I want to know what's going on, but then
Yeah.
I also don't want to like compromise my mental health.
Yeah.
So it's a fine line, and I'm not going to pretend that I know that I've mastered it, because I haven't.
None of us have, girl.
There
None
are
of
some
us.
days when I feel great, and um, yeah, there are some days where I'm like, wow, I'm really surprised that we've come this far, and that I feel as good as I do. And then, the very next day, I can feel really depressed and feel really anxious about everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And there have been days where I can't even pull myself out of bed.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and, I think that is just, I'm trying to give myself grace, and admit that that's part of this process.
It
I'm not
is.
always going to be happy.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And on those days, I try to really take stock of like, okay, well, why am I feeling this way? Um, And I try to use those as opportunities to grow.
Yeah.
Not to say that it doesn't upset me, because it does. Like Jake is the first person to be a witness to everything that goes on behind closed doors. But, you know, I don't always feel strong. I don't always feel like I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
But when I am feeling depressed, when I am feeling really low, I really try to kind of analyze the situation and understand why I feel that way.
Yeah.
And, you know that it's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
And, you know, tomorrow I could have the best day. And I guess that is the thing to take away from it. And anyone who's struggling right now or dealing with something that will force you to feel like a roller coaster of emotions, is take it one day at a time.
That's all we can do.
You're really, absolutely. If you're feeling really depressed that day, do something for you, and, you know, don't focus on all the other things that need your attention.
Yeah.
I've learned that that's my mind and my body saying, like, hey, you need to take a break. You need to stop whatever you are already doing.
Yeah.
And, like, rest and take care of yourself, because
do some self-care.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
So
what do you do for self-care? Like, what is it?
Sleep. I actually, Jake and I don't know if you can hear it. He's getting water.
Oh, I can't hear it.
Oh, okay. Called him, threw him under the bus. Jake's making all the noise over there.
Threw him right under that bus.
I think what we both have done is just be very open about how we're feeling. And Jake and I are really lucky that we have each other. I know that unfortunately not everyone has someone to kind of bounce, you know, their inner thoughts off of. But before this, when I was going through chemo and radiation and everything, I was pretty much stuck at home already. So again, like, without even knowing it back then, that experience, that process has helped us go through this now.
Yeah.
And really, like, I've done a lot of journaling, a lot of resting, a lot of, like, physical self-care, whether it's like a mask or just anything to, like, indulge yourself, I think is good, or process what's going on through your head. Talking it out has always been really helpful. And really, like I said, just knowing that even if, you know, you're struggling with this pandemic, know that it's not, it has been horrible, and it's all been so unfortunate.
Yeah.
But there will be an end to this.
Yeah. There will be light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes. So just try to hold on as much as you can, because good things come around too.
Yes, they do. They do. I wanted to go back to your bags. Ostomy bags. Is that what they're called? Ostomy bag.
Yeah.
So I've wondered this. So you just went to the restroom. So when you go to the restroom, do you still sit like you're going to use the restroom, or do you go to empty them?
Well, so that's like a preference for, like, you know, everybody has their own preferences. And when I first had the surgery, I actually couldn't sit down just because it's a major surgery, and I couldn't move that way.
Okay.
But as I healed, as I've gotten more comfortable, and it is more, it kind of like normalizes it for me. I sit on the toilet and
so you still have the sensation that you have to pee.
You know what's really weird is that sometimes, yes, I still get really weird, like phantom sensations, and it is the most. It's uncomfortable. I don't want anyone to feel it. Because I can't.
Yeah.
I can't, and I don't, and my body doesn't work like that anymore. But I still feel those sensations. But it's helpful for me to like sit and try to have some kind of familiar, like what's the word I'm looking for? Routine.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I do it.
So when you, so.
And I'm glad you're asking too.
Because I really wanted to ask this, and I was just like, well, I don't know if I should, but I was like, Sammy's open. You're very open about things. So, there's
a lot of people.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm so sorry.
No, go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that, before I had this surgery, I had no idea. Jake and I had no idea what this, and most people don't, and that's okay. So I feel like, I want to answer whatever questions there are out there. I want people to feel comfortable if they ever find that this is an option, this is something that might have to happen in their life. And the people who are already ostomates, I want them to feel comfortable we're normal people. Exactly.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be like a hidden secret.
It shouldn't be. It's a part of your normalcy. It's your new normal.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just feel like the more we talk about it, the more people know, the more it'll be normal to people. And it should be. It's like, I don't know. So
yeah.
So okay, so when you do have to go, you don't get that sensation. It just automatically fills up your bags or whatever you have to go with. Right?
I have zero control. Over what happens. The urostomy where I pee out of, it just is constantly going. So I empty it when it's too full for me.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, I have a sensation, but I can't control, like I don't decide when or how much or anything like that.
Okay.
And then I empty as needed.
Okay. Yeah,
a whole new world.
It's a whole new world, girl. So how often how often do you have to empty? Is there like a schedule or?
No, not really. It's just kind of like how it normally is. It depends on what you eat. It depends on if you're hydrated.
Yeah.
I would say like maybe 3 times a day.
Okay.
It just depends. There are some days where I don't have anything come out.
Really?
On the, I should say, the colostomy side, there are some days, it's rare, but it does happen. And usually that's because I ate something.
Well, that's normal. Some people are like that with just bowel movements in general. Some people don't have regular bowel movements. So yeah. Okay.
With the other one, with the urostomy, it's pretty, I drink a lot of water, so it's pretty constant. It's so annoying. But I guess the plus side is that I have I have like a bigger bag that the urostomy can like plug into.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm just laying around the house, I don't have to get up at all.
Oh.
So I'm going to take that silver lining and, it's really perfect for the like lazy person in me. And I'm not, I'm just trying to make light of.
And then the other good thing is like when you start going back, once you're able to get out more again and you go to a movie, you don't ever have to miss anything anymore.
There you go. Like I don't yeah, that's
a positive.
It's a plus. It is. And that, even if they're little or, it's laughable, I still try to take away some positive.
Small silver linings. The silver linings.
Yes. Yes. And I'll tell you, I'm not disgusted by, I don't want to say disgusted, but I'm not grossed out anymore by really anything, because, going through this process, you have to be comfortable with the stuff, everything
with bodily fluids. Yeah.
Deal with on a daily basis. So it's been life-changing in just about every way.
Oh, I bet. I'm so happy that you seem to be adjusting mentally well to it, where you are realizing, you know what, this is my new norm. It's not something I would have necessarily chosen, but it is what is going to keep me here, and I am going to embrace it, and I am going to be proud of this body, because this body can do this. The fact that your body, everything it's gone through, and it has still survived, it's still kicking butt, now it's doing this. I feel like those are your bags are like your tattoos of what a warrior you are. They're part of, you know what I'm saying? They're like little tattoos, I love when you do your little pictures.
It's a badge of honor. Yeah. And I don't always feel that way. I will be the first to admit, but you're right. It's what's allowed me to be here. So how could I not be appreciative? How could I not love them?
Yeah.
And thank them for allowing me to be here.
Yeah.
You're so wise, and Jake says the exact same thing to me every time I'm feeling really depressed about everything. He's like, hey, you're here, so there's a reason, one, and two, you can't, it's okay to be sad, but we can't waste our time focusing on that. I'm here.
Exactly. So Sammy, what has it been like? First of all, can I just say, can you tell people how important it is to have a support system when you are going through a serious illness such as cancer?
I mean, it's aside from treatment itself, it's one of the most important things that will get you through that experience. It's something that's it's really, really difficult. It just shakes up your whole world when it happens. So to have somebody to lean on and to go through this with you, because most people don't know what it's like. To have somebody to really relate to the things that you experience, and go with you to the depths of your lows and the highs of your highs is it's, one, it's really special, and two, it's important, because I honestly couldn't do this alone.
Of course not. Can we bring in Jake? I want to bring him in and have him come and talk with us.
Yes, he deserves the spotlight. Do you want?
I want both of you, and
both of us sitting.
Yes, I want both of you.
Do you want just?
No, I want both of you. Both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Jakey.
Here he is.
So Sammy, Jake is your husband.
I love how immediately uncomfortable he is.
He's so uncomfortable, and I love it. I love it. He is so uncomfortable. So Sammy and Jake, would you guys say that this has brought you, like you told us earlier, you first found out about your first diagnosis of cancer right after you guys got married in 2016, and you were only 27 years old. Would you say that everything that you have gone through in the past 4 years has definitely brought you all closer?
Absolutely. I think that for anyone, you know, when things like this happen in your life, it can kind of like remove people from your life, or it can really bring you closer. And that's what it's done for us. I mean, we've had to experience some things that, one, we never thought we would have to, or just kind of unimaginable.
Yeah.
But we've done it. We've done it together. And it's definitely made us have like a deeper appreciation for each other. You know, when you see someone that you really care about go through something like that, it really deepens your connection. And we're tied together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jake, how has this whole thing been? How has it been for you as a husband, a loving husband, and a caretaker? How has it been for you to have to jump into that role, not ever thinking that you would have to so soon?
Yeah, it's been a challenge to say the least. It is exhausting. It's pushed me to my own limits, as I know it has her. Kind of like she said, it's so challenging to see somebody you love and care about hurt and have to go through things that they don't deserve, but are in front of them. And this is the hurdle that she has to overcome. And I am now the person to do whatever I can to make it easier.
Oh,
yeah.
He's like the epitome of a partner. He's just really, I don't want to cry. I don't.
It's okay.
He's just really like,
it's okay.
Truly gone through everything with me.
Yeah.
And I can't, like, I don't know that I would be able to go do these things without someone who is willing to go there, to do that.
Yeah.
So I know that, like, doing that has kind of bonded us forever.
It totally has bonded you guys forever. And Jake is he's ride or die for you, ride or die, and you are for him too. So,
for him.
And that's why I said, and you are for him too. So of course, this situation would definitely bring you guys closer, and I feel like it has made Jake, you even more protective of her than you already were before. And feel the same for you too, Sammy, protective of him, you know, just based on some things that you and I have talked about personally, you know. Jake, who's your support system? Who's helping you? Who's supporting you? Because I think that's important for people as caretakers to have that outlet and have someone who they can lean on.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I need to like remove myself from the situation.
No.
I want to throw something straight.
Wait, don't remove.
Oh.
No.
Okay, I see.
No, but no,
that's okay.
I'm so sorry. You might have to ask the question again, just because I was being stupid and trying not to crack myself up. So I'm really sorry about that. I will contain it.
Yeah, so my support system really is her. We've been put into such a strange scenario in 2020. Now it's 2021, but last year was so different for so many people that she was relying on me as she was going through a hard time.
Yeah.
But with everybody being stuck at home, I mean, we can connect digitally and through Zoom and phone calls and things, but there's something that you can't replace in-person support. You know,
exactly.
We used to see a therapist regularly, and unfortunately she's no longer with us and we can't connect with her anymore. But, you know, I rely on some of her family. I don't have a relationship with my family anymore. And so I rely a lot on her to hold me up when I need to. And like you mentioned, she's my ride or die. I'm her ride or die.
Yeah.
So no, she's not able to be there in every moment for me, just like I know I'm not there for every single moment up and down. But anytime we really do need each other, we're there no matter what.
Yeah, you are. And that's the important thing.
Yes, absolutely. I think there's something to be said for, I think I kind of touched on it earlier, is just that when you experience something like this with someone, I mean, it kind of comes with it that you have to support each other through it, because only you two have seen like the ugly, dark, everything.
Yeah.
Along with the highs too, but like we're the only two that really understand what it is. So we have to make the most effort to be there for each other through all of this.
Yeah. Would you say that your beautiful fur babies are a little bit of a support system for you too?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, they really are. Thank you for bringing that up, because we should never overlook these little ones. But yeah, they one of our dogs is a therapy dog. She's trained and certified, and
Lola.
So she is our own. Yeah, Lola is our own at-home therapy dog. But we have another one, Bruno, who's about 15 years old, and again brings his own sort of spunk and support to us.
Boy, does he ever!
You can't. Yeah, you can't be upset. You can't be sad or mad around them. We can I can be in the other room working and be stressed out or panicked about something, and one of the dogs can just walk up and sit next to you, and it's not possible. It's not humanly possible for you to hold on to those bad feelings anymore, because this dog is here not knowing anything that you're going through, but ready to love you.
It's very sweet. Such angels. They really are.
They are.
Again, we wouldn't have been able to go through this without them, because they are so unconditional in their love. And I mean, I look at them and I'm sure a lot of people feel this, but dogs, it's pure love and happiness. There's nothing else to them.
Yeah.
They love you with every bit of themselves.
They do.
And just like Jake said, when you're hurting, when you're sad, when you're angry, you can't help but feel that love and happiness when that face comes to you, and just that like joyful presence. They've been such a huge part of us coping through all of this madness.
It's like that old saying that they say, dog spelled backwards. What's dog spelled backwards? It's God.
Like,
it's God.
Like right on the money on everything. Jake and I have these conversations all the time, and I really believe that they're like angels on loan to us.
Yeah.
Because it is a form of divine work.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine something so loving, so kind. It has to be God.
Yeah. And they always know when you're like, they just always know. Even if you're not even fussing, if you're not crying, they know when something's off with you, and they'll just come and just nuzzle you or put their little head in your lap or just get close to you. Yeah. And it's kind of, I feel like it's a reassuring way for them to kind of be like, I'm right here. I'm here with you. Yes. You're not by yourself. Which is something I feel like God does. So.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, it's them reminding and God saying, like, don't you forget that I'm right here.
Yeah. Oh. So, Jake, what has been the biggest lesson that you have learned out of all of this? What has been the biggest lesson that you've learned? Or your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, I think there's a lot.
Or you can share a couple.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest things is just that nothing is impossible, that we can do anything that we set our minds to, as daunting as something is, and that you can only take it one step at a time, that we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, so we're going to deal with what we have today as best we can. Yeah. And when we wake up tomorrow, it's a new day, and we're going to take that on and keep going.
Yes. Sammy, what's been the biggest thing you've learned out of all of this? Your takeaways, a couple of your takeaways.
Definitely that one. definitely not to be so hard on myself.
Yes.
And to stop caring so much about what everybody thinks. My goodness, there
Yeah.
are more important things to experience in life. There will be harder things to face in life.
Yeah.
And going through all of this has shown me, like, okay, I've done this. I think the last thing that I'm going to care about is what someone thinks of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is so freeing too. That's so freeing. Like I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite there yet. But I have advanced a lot and I can't wait. Like I'm the type of person, I don't care what strangers think about me because I don't embarrass easily. I don't care you're a stranger. I really don't care. But I still care a lot what people who I love and care about think of me. But I'm hoping to get to that space of just doing me and being me regardless of what people will think, and because that is freeing. That is a freeing moment to have. So that's amazing that you've gotten to that point, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not present all the time.
Yeah.
Because I deal with anxiety and I am very much in my head 24/7. But it definitely is something that this process has taught us, is that, like, we just can't get hung up on those things. And of course, I absolutely value opinions of people that we love and
Yeah.
people that are close to us and everything. But if it's about a decision that we've made in our lives, or how I look or how I don't look, or everything in between, doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
We live life for us.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's probably the thing. Yeah. And to hold on to that faith, because as much as this has tested it, it has absolutely shown me that there's God, and He has our back no matter what we go through, no matter how upsetting it gets, no matter how far you feel like you've turned down the wrong road. He's there.
Yeah.
And that's probably the biggest takeaway that we've been able to
hold on to.
Embrace and hold on to. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's good. What is something, because I want to reach people. So what is something that you can share to help people to be better support systems for their loved ones, whether they're going through cancer, whether they're going through COVID, whether they're going through any type of illness, or just going through anything in life? What is something you can offer so that we can learn to be a better support system for our loved ones?
I would say listen. I know it sounds so simple. I think a lot of the times I'm sure I'm guilty. I know I am. When we talk about our problems, or when we have conversations with our friends or our family, we're kind of caught up in like how we perceive it, or like how we would deal with it, or I got to have an answer for this, for whatever this person is saying. But to be able to really listen and understand where someone is coming from, and to have that empathy, and ask yourself, how would that feel for me, or what would be helpful for me, or what could someone say to me that would make me feel better, make me feel understood. That would be my biggest piece of advice, because all too often, I think, and we're human, I know that most of the time it isn't malicious in any way, but if we can kind of be centered and really focus on our relationships and you know, how we go about them. I think that that's helpful as far as, you know, supporting the people that you love.
Yeah. Jake, you got anything?
From from a caregiver standpoint, I think it's all about being okay, not being okay some days. That she's had to help me remember that, yes, I am the I don't know what word she calls me, Superman, but like I'm the person here at home that's helping take care of the dogs and take care of you in the house, and then working and doing other things. But that there are days where I'm too tired to do anything, or I'm too stressed about something else. I need to be able to communicate with her that, like, I'm not able to do everything today, that the dogs are just going to have to not go for a run today, or we're going to have to do the grocery shopping later this week, or something like that. And being able to let her know what I'm feeling, whether it's good or bad, so she knows that that's where I am. And then just the caregiving process, that it's not linear. It's not just a typical staircase of I'm just going to help you a little more and a little more and we're going to get better. But that some days I'm going to help her, you know, just stay comfortable in bed all day. And other days I'm going to help her get out of bed, and she's going to make breakfast and lunch and do some cleaning around the house. And some days are a lot different than others, and I need to be okay with allowing her to move at her own pace, whether it's go a lot further on Monday and a little bit slower on Tuesday. That things are just going to keep going up and down, like riding the waves.
I think the key thing in probably both of our answers is just being really open. That, you know, honestly, that's one of the things overarching, is just being honest. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with the people that are in your life. Even if things aren't good, you know, if you guys can have an honest conversation, and at least attempt it at that point, then you're supporting each other, if that makes sense. Even if you disagree, if you're making the effort to be honest and open
working together.
I love that. I love that. And I love you guys so much. And I just think
love you so
I
much.
love you so much. And I feel like this is a good place to kind of end things. But first, I just want to say I'm so proud of you all, both of you, because just everything you've gone through, you guys have just been such a light for me to look at, a light and beacon of strength and hope. And I feel, I don't want to get emotional, but I feel blessed to call you my friend. Just because I know the cancer journey is not easy, you know, seeing my mom go through it. So I appreciate all that you share, Sammy. I appreciate you sharing when you're not having the best days. I appreciate you just being so open and honest about everything. And Jake, I appreciate you for just loving her the way you do. You're such a good husband to her, and you're such a good wife to him. And I know she couldn't have done this without your support and without the support of her family and her friends, but mainly your support. And it warms my heart, and I'm just so proud of y'all. Like, I feel like I got closer to y'all when Sammy started going through her cancer journey. Just because I just always want to be there for you, and I want you to know I'm always here for you, and I love you so much. And just keep doing what you're doing. You don't have to wake up every day feeling like you are Superman and you are Superwoman. Just know that regardless of what you're doing, you are extraordinary each and every day, because you have made it another day. You have made it another day, and you've made it with strength and grace and compassion. Sammy, you're the most compassionate, sweetest person I know. And you are. I adore you so much.
Nikki, I honestly can say the same thing about you. And I hope you know that absolutely, like, you are meant to be in our life, and we're just as honored. And you have been such a wonderful friend that we love and appreciate you so much. And this really is like, we're meant to be friends. It's obvious. We're meant to support each other in our lives, and it's nothing but a blessing. And I'm so thankful for you.
I feel the same. And I just want to thank you guys. I want to thank everyone again for joining us for this episode of Undeniably Nikki. And I want to thank Jake and Sammy for being here again to just talk about their journey and their experience. And Sammy, you are Sam Strong. You are a warrior. You are making it through. Oh, you know what? One more question. Where are you? Are you cancer free now, or where are you in that process?
I mean, I guess on a very technical level, my scans have been clear, which is great.
Oh, good.
At this point, it's awesome. It is difficult though, and it does. What's that?
Oh, I just said, but it's still a journey that you're on.
What happened? Oh, yes. At the point where we're at in my cancer, many diagnoses, it's kind of hard to, because we've been here before. It's hard to take a clear scan for what it is. So, with us and my doctors, it's kind of, that's how it is right now.
So you're cautiously optimistic.
We just kind of, yes, thank you.
There it is. That's what we're looking
there
for.
It is. That's the short answer.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Well, I'm happy about that. And here's to more scans being clear in the future. Here's to continued scans being clear, and when I say here's, I mean cheers to that. I'm gonna drink it.
Yes.
But yeah, again, I thank you guys so much for joining me for this episode. Everyone out there, please, if you are liking what you're seeing on my channel, please make sure you are subscribed, and please make sure you feel free to comment below and to also share this episode and to like it. And if you guys have questions for Sammy, please put them in the comment. I'll make sure that she knows so she can go on there and answer. In the meantime, you guys should definitely follow, I'm gonna say Sammy because Jake don't really post nothing. Follow Sammy on Instagram. Follow Sammy on Instagram, and also they have a YouTube channel. So tell them your information, Sammy. Tell them what you are on Instagram and then your YouTube channel.
So my Instagram handle is Sammy Jo Russ _OOH. Samantha Russell. I am.
We have a YouTube.
We have a YouTube channel. It's called The Russells IRL in real life, because we like to be open. We like to talk about our real life issues.
Yep.
So thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
And thank you for having this conversation and using your platform to raise awareness. I can't say it enough, Nikki. Like, you might think the world of us, but we think the world of you. And
thank you.
You are a wonderful human being, and we're so blessed to call you friend as well.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I love you guys. Jake, did you want to give your information? I mean, you don't do nothing, but do you want to give your information?
No, I don't do anything. But
like,
my Twitter and Instagram are the same, Jake Jaker, and if you catch a post in the next year, then consider yourself lucky.
You know what? He is pretty funny. That's true. His posts are like gold because they're so rare.
Yeah, they are so rare. Jake will only post when it's Sam's birthday, which he did yesterday.
Or our anniversary. That's pretty much
an anniversary. That's it. That's why I was like, you don't do that, All right. Well, thank you guys again. I love you so much. And I will catch you all on another episode of Undeniably Nikki. Bye, Sammy. Bye, Jake. Love you.